Alright, gonna hit the record button and gonna get started. Alright, well, I'm gonna do a listener puzzle today, or as much of it as I can. This is a puzzle that's from a few weeks ago, so it's no longer a live prize puzzle. This is by Saber, a name that jumped out at me when I looked down the list of recent listener setters. Saber always does a good puzzle, so yeah, I'm gonna get started. This is a group solving activity, so if anyone wants to jump in and help out with the clues, that would be very welcome. Alright, what have I got here? Ooh, let's turn the entire screen upside down. Why not? Because we can. Alright, so I just downloaded this. This is called Surprise by Saber. I am surprised but not very surprised to see that this is an empty grid. There are no bars, so that's going to be an extra curlicue. Let's have a look at this. Clues including lengths and brackets are normal, that's good. Presented in the usual order, also good. In each row, one answer must be entered with an extra letter provided by a crossing entry anywhere along its length. In row order, the extra letters confirm how to complete the grid. You must then add the bars later. 180-degree symmetry, numbers not required. Chambers Dictionary. Alright, that's all sensible stuff. Alright, so one across, or somewhere near one across. Mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old. So mount up would be reversed if it was a down clue, but it isn't. So riding Rex would be R for Rex, 2-year-old. What is that? Noxious gases from burning inside lifts. Noxious gases from burning inside lifts. Hope to get recipe for fish. Recipes usually are. So a word for hope plus an R to get a word for fish. 3 miles to the old hospital, furlongs away from one more. Oh, blimey. San is sometimes an old hospital, but there's only 4 letters here. One swims a mile at sea, possibly. So it's like an anagram. It could be an anagram of a mile at sea, or possibly swims a mile. One swims. Country trader provided one company. If would be provided, one would be A, company would be co. I don't see that being right though. Tautifico, that's not a country. Many cycling to local at an earlier time. Well, this has started well. This is really bad when you can't get any of the first clues, because obviously once you get into the middle of the puzzles at questions, you don't know where anything goes, because as you see we have a... Oh, I mustn't show you that one. That's a magpie puzzle. Alright. Oh no, someone's going to screen freeze that and then cheat on the magpie. Don't do that. Alright, the New Yorkers admitting current themes. Current could be in or I. Oh dear. Suffer from an allergy, maybe, related to stray cat. That's react, isn't it? So... Oh. Re is related to... Stray cat is an anagram of cat, so that gives us react. This is no help because we've got no idea where in the puzzle this will be. So hang on, let's count the rows. There are 12 letters in each row, and there's an extra letter in each row. So we're probably looking at that being one row, that being one row, that being one row, that being one row. So we would think that react would be somewhere on the further end of row 5. So for instance, react could be there. though. It could be one space before, and it could certainly have an extra letter crossing through it. So this is going to be hard and fun. Alright, refuse, deal to get in shape. Refuse deal to get in shape. Clergyman with mostly cream, ancient suit being restored. Oh my goodness. Perhaps nun's clothing worth furry fabric. Nun's clothing is a wimple or a veil, a habit. Perhaps a habit worth furry fabric. Doesn't seem like habit. Soprano, good money is backing. Good money is backing. Sting, S10G, I don't know. Sting. Quite often what happens when I do these is that I look and there it is, an extra thing in the rubric that I've missed, and so yeah, that could be Sting if some of the clues had no definition parts, but I don't think that's true. Radical round boards not having instruments. Radical red. Stage could be board. Restiged not having instruments. I don't think that's right. A little shy periodically showing ADHD. It seems like antsy would be showing ADHD, but I don't see how a little is ant. Sudden death, a risk, Henry and Oscar fancy. Sudden death, a risk, Henry and Oscar fancy. H-O, obviously. Plant from Orient 1 growing wild. Looks like an anagram of Orient 1. Could be tree. I think onion tree for that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th word down. 8 down. 1, 2, 3. Could be. Unfortunately, it doesn't interlink with React at all, which maybe is a bad sign for React. Alright, let's go back. Fertilizer contains trace of edible seaweed. So that is E in something to get a word for seaweed, most likely. Tears or tears are caught in drink containers. Drink containers. Cups, crups, mugs, mergs are caught in drink containers. Cans, crans, no, I don't have it. Video is hanging, yeah, it is, isn't it? Alright. Yeah, this is the problem with this. Alright, I'm going to stop sharing. I'll start mirroring again. Oh, so, yeah. So this idea of streaming, no, this is trying to cast the iPad to the screen. So window capture, remove that. Oh no! There we have the listener back. What's happened to let's make this a bit smaller, maybe rotate it. If we do that, that's probably better. Alright, okay, maybe you can see that again, I hope so. So yeah, as can you see things? That looks better, yeah, you can see some stuff. Alright, so these clues have got to be entered into the grid as and where they'll fit. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly where they are in the normal order, so somewhere in the top left is this answer: mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old, but I do not know what that is. Mount up, Tor, riding R, I don't know, mount up. Yeah, we got there. Noxious gases from burning inside lifts. See, I don't know what this is. Noxious gases from burning. It might just be noxious gases from burning, you know. Yeah, this is tough because these clues are tricky. If these clues were easier, this would be fairly easy to get started with. But yeah. All right. Terminate one's claim at law. Terminate. End. Stop. One is one. A. Terminate. All right. 6 letters here. CU. Clean the brass regularly. That is laters. Every second letter of clean the brass comes out as laters. Land right before developing COVID-19. Oh my goodness. Land right before developing. Spot non-marine seal before in parts of island. Opens box with name unknown for return. Spar, N, Y, no idea. 1 of 5 of assassins, one showing scorn for gun. These clues are particularly impenetrable, I would say. Lizard in stocking leads to Gran's alarm. Well, leads to Gran's alarm at GA. Iguana? No. In stocking leads to Gran's alarm. It's not an iguana. Goanna? Goanna is a lizard. No, but it doesn't work. Check, this is still streaming. Bolted in some parts, having made a note of missing ones. Oh my goodness. Having made a note of, so missing any eyes in having made a note of. Notified, no, I don't know. Forgotten, stole, soprano has abandoned. So take S out of a word for stole, maybe? Forgotten. Ravel conducted Schubert's first over liberal. Ravel. Conducted Schubert's first over liberal. Led S over L. Ravel, no. It's got to be Revel. Victorian nippers, joyful exclamation on receiving books. Well, BB are books, or OT or NT are books. Joyful exclamation could be wow, or could be a lot of things, unfortunately. Victorian nipper. Obscure, individual embraces Latin. So, L is Latin. Individual. Lone? No. Obscure. Cloud? Cowed is not an individual. So this is bad news. I mean, I've gone through this all one time and got 3 or 4 or 5. No, 3 or 4. I think that's fair to say. Oof. Please scroll down a bit. Yes. Yeah. Can't make this much smaller. This is bad because I can see all the way to the bottom, but you cannot unless I pull it up. Yeah. Northern Isle shuns tourist lodges. That is Unst. Northern Isle shuns tourist lodges. So yeah, this is suboptimal because you cannot see the bottom of the screen except when I pull it up. But that is the last across clue, so the chances are that Unst will be down here somewhere. Somewhere near here. Alright, let's consider... I mean, this isn't so bad, is it? But I can... Oh, move it into the middle there, maybe. That's not so bad. As long as you've got a big screen, I guess you'll be able to see that. Alright, we need to get some clues. Alright, so... problem with having the bottom right corner word is that we don't know where the down clues end. I mean, if there was a... Okay, so if there are some 5s, you would think that obscure individual embraces Latin might well connect with Unst. So obscure, so it could be a 5-letter word for ending with T, for instance. That would be nice. Oh, I'm out of shape with the listeners. I'm still doing the magpies, but I've really fallen off on the listeners. That does mean I can stream them, which is good, but it does mean it takes me a little longer to remember how listeners work. Alright, mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old. What's a 2-year-old? A cult? Mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old. 2-year-old doesn't really conjure anything up to me apart from a cult. Noxious gases from burning. What do you call that? Inside lifts. Burning could be hot, red. Inside lifts. Lifts could be raises. Noxious gases, lifts. So yeah, this is very much a group solve. So if you see anything you think I've got half a clue for that, then please do chime in, because yeah. So one swims a mile at sea, possibly. How about, let's see if this is an anagram of a mile at sea. One swims. Or it could be swims a mile at sea. I don't know where the definition would be. That doesn't look very promising either. One swims seal. React. The New Yorker's admitting current theme. Themes, topics. That'd be TOPCS would then have to be New Yorker. I don't like that much. Fertilizer contains trace of edible seaweed. We need a 5-letter word for seaweed with fertilizer around E. Tears are caught in drink containers. What are drink containers? Cups, mugs, urns, vats. Could be RC. These tears or tears. Probably tears. Wrens? No. Weeps, cries. Yeah, no, this is a tricky one though. Maybe I shouldn't have started with a Saber. I mean, one of the things about Saber is I know he's good, but I also know he's often considered to be quite hard. And that does not necessarily seem to be being what do you call it? Refuted by this puzzle. Proclaimed elderly wife must leave crooked Democrat. Proclaimed elderly wife must leave crooked Democrat. Wife. Proclaimed elderly. I mean, wife could be W out of a word for crooked. Democrat is D. It would seem likely that this would end with a D. Proclaimed. Could be a word for proclaimed elderly. Proclaimed elderly. So it's an old word for proclaimed. Wife must leave crooked. So we need a 5-letter word for crooked without a W and then a D. Askew could be crooked. Asked doesn't mean proclaimed though, does it? Don't like that. It could be an old word for to proclaim in the old days. Maybe ask meant proclaim. Let's try that. You know, when we're in this kind of a pickle where nothing's coming, got to try the long shots. So getting my Collins app out here. Ask is indeed an old word for to proclaim. So who knew? But we all know that now. Okay. So asked. By my calculations, asked is going to be somewhere in this sort of corner of the puzzle. Somewhere in the middle. Everything could be, of course, at least one row out, or it could even be on the other side of the puzzle because something has got to give. At some point there's 11 rows worth of clues in 12 rows. Oh, I wish I had some things closer to the top though. Mount up riding Rex's 2-year-olds. These are the ones we need really. Noxious gases from burning inside lifts. Noxious gases. Really want that to be ending with ides or gens. Lifts. Ups. Could be ups, could be lifts. Noxious gases could be up somethings. Upshots. I don't like upshots particularly. Burning inside lifts. Yeah, I think ups is probably not necessarily a good alley to go down. Hello, hello. We desperately need help on this one. This is a listener from a month or two ago. It's quite hard. Yes, well, if you can help me with this, listener, that would be awesome. So we got a puzzle here. The clues are in the normal order, and the clues are relatively normal, but the clues are quite hard, it turns out. Once you've solved the clues, you need to fit them into this grid in the normal order, but unfortunately I haven't got any of the earlier cross clues. So I've got a rough idea of where the 3 clues, or some of the clues that I've solved already might go, but no exact knowledge. It's going to take a while. There is some extra jiggery pokery involved, where down clues can intersect across clues in such a way that an extra letter is added to the cross clues. So that's going to make things difficult. But yeah, if anyone's got any good ideas for how to solve these clues, I've not been moving quickly so far. So yeah, the great ones to get would be 1 across and 2 across, or whatever you call it. Probably 1 across and 5 across, you know. And these are likely to be these first 2 clues. Mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old, and noxious gases from burning inside lifts. Probably a word for burning inside a word for lifts. So I'm thinking maybe that would be upshots, uphots. I don't think upshots are noxious gases, unfortunately. If anyone knows anything about noxious gases, then please do chime in. This was meant to be a Greek solving thing, but I told everyone I was going to do it like hours ago, and then I didn't turn up. So some people have turned up. Obviously lots of people have turned up now at this point. Hello, nice to see you here. I normally do the times puzzles every day at 4 p.m. Pacific, midnight London, but it's the weekend, so all the puzzles are prize puzzles, so we're trying to do a listener, and unfortunately falling flat on my face so far. Alright, mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old. I would love to be able to solve that. What about 2 down? Maybe that will intersect with asked in some way. Clergyman with mostly cream ancient suit being returned. So it seems like it would be a word for a clergyman, but if it ends with suit being restored, it could end with itis. But what the heck would mostly cream ancient mean? I don't know. It could be an old word for cream, and we take off the last letter. This is a barred puzzle, or rather it's an unbarred puzzle. You can look at it and see there are no bars. But yeah. Yeah, 5-4. I used to know you in the 90s. It seems like the 90s were only yesterday, but in fact it's many years ago. Alright, perhaps nun's clothing, worth very fabric. I mean, how is perhaps nun's clothing not habit? I do not know. Worth very fabric. Soprano, good money is backing. Should be a word for a soprano, right? Could be S. S, good could be pi. Good could be G. Money backing could be tin, reversed. Money could be M. The 90s is 25 years ago. Yeah, it's when people say things, oh yeah, it's the 30th anniversary of this album. I'm like, what? I bought that like 3 years ago. Come on. Now the Beatles are like 60 years ago. Something is going wrong with time. Something is going wrong with time. Alright, radical, round boards, not having instruments. I really want radical to be red. Tables for boards. Not having instruments. Unmetered. Can mount up mean tie? Mount up could be tie. Riding Rex. 2-year-old. Well, I don't quite know where that's going. It's riding Rex. I mean, I wanted Rex to be R. Oh, tyke. K for Rex. Rex is a king, is it? That would be very indirect, wouldn't it? I mean, a 2-year-old could be a tyke. Why would mount up be tie? A 4-letter mountain. Yes. Mount. Then it'd have to be like mount. I quite like mount up is like add. You know, I'm going to look up tie because I think that's a great idea. Because tyke is almost something I can squint and see that could work. I don't see any immediate evidence that tie could mean mount up. Mount up. It could be. Yeah, I like the idea that it's a mountain reversed. Riding Rex. What is a 2-year-old? A toddler, a tot, a tyke. I like tyke. I do like tyke. What about the second row? Hope to get recipe for fish. Recipe is bound to be R. So you need a word for a fish. That's a 5-letter word for hope. Plus a R. What would that be? Trot. Tot holding R. Okay. Mount up. Tot. Trot. I feel like mount up is not so much add up, but sort of accumulate. Or it could be a reverse word for a mount. Or it could be a reverse word for a horse. Like a nag backwards. This is so hard. So if it was nag reversed writing R, we'd have gran. I do not think gran is a 2-year-old. This is a dead end. Trot, yeah. So we are stuck. What about this one? This is a 4-letter clue. A 4-letter clue, don't let me remind you. A 4-letter answer. 3 miles to the old hospital, furlongs away from one more. I mean, what the heck? 3 miles to the old hospital. Is that the definition? Furlongs away from one more. So take F away from an old hospital to get something that means 3 miles to the old hospital. Or, hang on, 3 miles to the old. So an old word for 3 miles. So we have hospital, H, and then something else, minus F. And then we get a word for 3 miles. A 4-letter word for 3 miles, meaning H, beginning H. Oh, I really think that's going to be something like that. H, and then... So for the third row, or the third row or thereabouts, I thought one swims a mile at sea possibly could be an anagram of a mile at sea, or it could be an anagram of swims a mile, but I hadn't worked out what any of these answers could be. Let's check up something. Is a rod 3 miles? I thought a rod was shorter. I thought a rod was like the length of a rod. But this is how we educate ourselves. Rod is about 161 over 2 feet. So not quite 3 miles, I don't think. It's a good thought. When Boris Johnson brings back imperial measurements, then we'll all know what rods are once more. Alright, so... Dead air. Gotta love it. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything good for swims a mile or a mile at sea as anagrams. So we might have to go back to the drawing board. How about an anagram of 1 swims a.m. at sea? So that would be something like this. 1 swims a mile at sea. It could end woman. Messy woman. I don't think that's right. Mice woman. How about Wamissaman? No, this isn't going well either. 1 swims a mile at sea. What about this? The New Yorkers admitting current themes. How does this work? The could be T. New Yorker could be yank. Current is usually I or in. I was hoping it could be topics, but unless New Yorker is an OPC, then we are not getting very far with that. What about the next one? Fertilizer contains trace of edible seaweed. Trace of edible could be E. So I was looking for a word for seaweed that is a word for fertilizer with an E in it. The one next to that is tears, probably not tears. Tears are caught in drink containers. Either a homophone in drink containers, or else maybe R inside a word for drink containers. They're crups, varts, tears, torns. Detective needing uniform to become quite brave. You can still see this? Good. Detective needing uniform to become quite brave. So uniform is U. We'd have to add a word for U. We have to add a letter U to this word, maybe, to make a word meaning courageous-ish. Quite brave, though. Why is it quite brave? Boulder. Detective. Sleuth. Title of commander, Queen's given to setter. So I feel like setter is me, Queen is ER, but is Mir the title of a commander as opposed to an emir? Just check this up. Mir. A Muslim ruler or commander, also known as an amir. So that's a good thing. That looks like that's correct. And that would be somewhere underneath asked. Let's say that the most beautiful thing possible happens and Mir is directly underneath asked. That would imply that we could get some down clues that might contain an AM or an SE or a KE or an ER, but this is really optimistic. But for instance, like look here, we've got CU, clean the brass regularly. That is the answer to that is laters. So in the interest of making it look like we're making good progress on this puzzle, totally dishonest streaming, I'm going to put in laters there as though it was definitely right. So we have onion tree, which has to go somewhere. But I do not know where onion tree would go. It is the 8th down clue. So cannot imagine it going anywhere, you know, on the left-hand side of the grid, unless it interlocks with Ast and Mir and so on. Doesn't seem to. But of course, we can add in extra letters. It says one answer in each row. One answer must be entered with an extra letter provided by a crossing entry. So it's always possible any entry could go down through React without actually crossing with React. Isn't the listener fun? Alright, so before laters we have terminate one's claim at law. What is terminate? End one's claim at law. Terminate one's claim at law. Suit. Land right before developing COVID-19. Don't think we can anagram COVID-19 into anything. Maybe we could anagram land right. Could be a word for land. R before retrovirus. No, that's too long. Spot non-marine seal before in parts of island. What is a non-marine seal when it's at home? Lizard in stocking leads to Grand's alarm. In could be home. But how would you put GA into home and get a lizard? Hogame, is that a lizard? Hogame. Oh, ow. Oh, I fell over in the... I slipped in the bath and I fell over on my leg. But today, my ribs are really hurting. I do not know how it is that you could fall onto your leg and hurt your ribs. That seems to be what's happened to me. So, occasionally I'll go, ow! Today. That's the problem. Alright, obscure individual embraces Latin. What's an individual? The word for obscure should not be so hard to think of, but you know. Refuse, deal to get in shape. Litter, refuse, refuse, deny. Clergyman with mostly cream ancient suit being restored. These clues are the type of clues just have one more word than I'm comfortable with. It makes it a little bit harder to work out where to go. Ah! How is perhaps nun's clothing worth very fabric? I've got no idea how that could be habit. And nun's clothing could be NN. Worth. Mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old. Mount up some? No. Alp could be mount up. PLA. I don't like up for an across clue, so maybe it isn't mount up at all. Is a ride 3 miles. Mount up riding Rex's 2-year-old. No colours. I hope we get to the point where I can put some colours in. I like colours. I clearly should have started off on a slightly less perplexing listener, but that's alright. I mean, it is what it is. Badly off with 1/3 of Beaujolais being corked. So is that an anagram of badly or an anagram of off? Or poor? 1/3 of Beaujolais. Beaujolais has 10 letters, so 1/3 of Beaujolais doesn't seem to... one across an anagram of deal and in. A league is about 3.4 miles. Oh, everyone's coming up with really helpful stuff now. Alright, where were we? One across, anagram of deal. One down, refuse deal to get in shape. Is refuse denial? Deal to get in shape. That's not terrible. Refuse doesn't really mean denial. It'd have to be refusal, wouldn't it? And shape would be a very curious anagram indicator. Right, let's have a look. Hospital one. A league is about 3.4 miles. So a league is almost exactly 3 miles. Where were we? 3 miles to the old hospital. Furlongs away from one more. I mean, it could be people even older than, you know, British people. It could be like a word for 3 miles in... a league is exactly 3 miles. League to the old. Hospital furlongs away from one more. Furlongs has got to be F's, right? Or F or F's. What's another word for a hospital that has an F in it? If only there was one that immediately sprang to mind. Yeah, exactly 3 miles is, yeah, very interesting, isn't it? What about this? Country, trader, provided, one, company. You'd think that would end with ICO, wouldn't you? Or ACO? Is there any country that ends with ACO or ICO? Not that I can think of. Many cycling too local at an earlier time. Many cycling. Many is lots. We could cycle lots and get slot. That doesn't seem to be local at an earlier time. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Tears or tears are caught in... Okay. Well, how about this one? I haven't done this one yet. Starts to breathe loudly during exercise. An old pom is pink. I think that would be BL. Starts to breathe loudly during exercise. Exercise could be PE. An old pom, though. And are we looking for a word for pink? Resistance cut in absorbent pipe cleaners. You think you take an R out of a word for absorbent? Monaco. Monaco. Interesting. What was that? Where was the company? Country, trader, provided, one company. Is a trader a mon? I think the answer length is just the correct answer, is correct length of the word. The words may end up being longer in the grid because they can be intersected by down clues. Just in case this wasn't tough enough, we have the option there. Yeah, Monaco is a good idea. Why didn't I think of Monaco? It's bad. Whinge to some people. Drink harbour's taste of radishes. Okay, well, taste of radishes is going to be R. So what's a word for whinge? Serp. It's going to be a crazy word, isn't it? Leafy greens. Dead before long. Leafy greens. There's all sorts of things. Long is pine or ache or itch. Oh. Is there any leafy greens that end with etch? I was going to say orach, but I don't think that is. Whinge clue. Gin. Oh, gurn. Gurn could be whinge. Is gurn whinge? As well as make a stupid face? Should have my dictionary on screen, really. Gurn is to grin, snarl, to grimace, or to complain peevishly. I think you have it, Dan Smooth. Excellent work. Alright, so that is somewhere over here. Could be anywhere, to be honest, but somewhere in this sort of quadrant of the grid. Maybe I probably got it completely wrong as to which ones are on the right and which ones are on the left, but that was my guess. Well, grin, which do you think means whinge, grin or gurn? I think grin is not really grin is like the opposite of whinging. It's when you're happy, not sad. But you could be right. What is orach? Orach is an edible plant, sometimes used as spinach. So that would be leafy greens, orach. Ache means pine. Why would OR mean dead before long? Oh, is or an old word for before? Dead before. Oh, crikey. So we would have... Well, I mean, anyone's guess where this would go. That doesn't look good, but... So, we got more clues. Yeah, I think if you can prove to me that grin means whinge, I would take that, but... Alright, so the bottom is looking better than the top, for sure. So what about this one? Badly off, with 1/3 of Beaujolais being corked. So a third of Beaujolais could just be A. Could be with 1 and the third letter of Beaujolais, but... Down clues. We have 5-letter down clues, which presumably could start on this row where I've put mere currently. The last 4 down clues are all 5 letters. You'd think they would all start in this row. Oh. In this row, there. Oh. The first 5-letter down clue. Forgotten, stole, soprano has abandoned. 5-letter word for forgotten, or it could be a word for a forgotten stole, in which case it would be S plus loss. You'd have like slost, could be an old word for a stole, or an old word for having stolen. That doesn't seem likely, but I'm just going to check. Abandoned. Abandoned doesn't really mean lost, does it? No. Ravel conducted Schubert's first over Liberal. Ravel. What does Ravel mean? Untie? Schubert's first has to be S. Over Liberal. Victorian nippers. Joyful exclamation on receiving books. So it could be like, yay, over BB. Is a yabby a Victorian nipper? Ooh. Ooh, Victorian means Australian, doesn't it? I think a yabby is probably a Victorian nipper. Yabby, a small freshwater crayfish, often used as bait. So there we go. That's another one. But where the heck would we put yabby? Here, I'll do some actual deleting there. So it feels like yabby would have to go down here somewhere, but there is nowhere at all that will fit well with Gurn or Orish. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's like spinach, so let's call it Orich. Obscure individual embraces Latin. Blind, obscure, muddy, individual. What's a 4-letter word for individual? Soul, own, individual, soul. Where the heck is Yabby gonna go? I do not see that at all. Where does onion tree go? I don't know about that either. Or if that was laters, it'd be like that. Refuse deal to get in shape. Clergyman. I still want this clergyman to end with an anagram of suit, but Jesuits. It's not a clergyman. Let's see what people are saying. I was thinking about the third across clue being a word for hope plus R, maybe angler or shiner. Okay, so what are we saying for that? Hope to get recipe for fish. Yes, it could certainly be that. Yes, yes, yes. Oh no, you're saying it's the other one. Hope to get recipe. Well, I feel like it's got to be a word for hope. Bob. Hope. 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 That can't be a hard word to think of a synonym for. Dream. Await. Hope. Ugh. It's got to be a six-letter word for a fish, hasn't it? Or two fish? I don't know. Hope to get recipe for fish. Yeah, I see how you can see that could be angler or something. Isn't angle a hope? But fish are not angler. Fisher is angler. Hope. Where am I? Am I in the shot? Oh, sort of. Put my glasses back on. Hello. Alright. Problem with this is my eyesight is not multifocal at the moment, so it's tricky. Yeah, this crossword is called Surprised, and I am surprised by how hard it is. Oh no. So in the listener, every month they have, or every 6 weeks they have 2 easy ones, 2 hard ones, and 2 middling ones. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a hard one, as it were, but it might just be a medium one. I don't know, a middling one. What about this? Sudden death, a risk. Henry and Oscar fancy. Sudden death, a risk. H-O. Sudden death. Why would a little shy periodically showing ADHD? I mean, shy periodically is SY. A little. Ant is not a little. What else could antsy be than showing AD and ADHD? What else could that be? Oh dear. Radical round boards not having instruments. Radical. Root. What's a word for not having instruments? Untooled. Not having instruments. Soprano, good money is backing. Soprano. Tony Soprano. Gangster. Could it be like a word for... No. A word for soprano with pi or ip at the end? That doesn't sound right. Fishes that end with R, well, I'm willing to have a look. Let's see what we have. Anglabitchier. Xander is a fish that ends with a... What are we looking for? Once... No. I've lost it. Hope to get recipe for fish. Shine. Does hope mean shine? Sudden death. Oh, a risk plus H plus O is karoshi. Brilliant work. Oh wow, yes, that's when you die early in Japan, isn't it? Karoshi. So where was that? Karoshi there. And what's happened to my pen? Ah, such a professional. Alright, karoshi. Ah, sorry. My pen's misbehaving. Let's try getting back in and see if I can get the pen back up. There we go. Well, maybe. No. Okay. One sec. There we go. I just needed to screw in the tip, as it were. Alright, karoshi. A risk, H-O, fancy. Oh, it's just right there. Oh, man. It's a great spot, though. Ah, ditzy. That makes a lot more sense. Where is it? A little shy periodically showing ADHD. A little is dit. Okay, I can believe that. Ditzy, Karoshi. So we've got Ditzy going down. We've got Karoshi going down somewhere to the right of it. Blimey. So, noxious gases. Does one of them begin with K or have a K in it? Burning inside lifts. Dit. Yeah. Instead of using the first letter of a word, can you substitute a synonym? I think that would be very unusual. I don't think that's something that we want to think about. Generally, people would say, "Oh no, that is an indirect sort of clue," and they wouldn't like it. I think. I really want onion tree to fit somewhere. That would be really nice if it would fit. Yeah. It'd be so good if we could get like one across. Mount up. Riding Rex is 2-year-old. It's only a 4-letter clue. It must have an R in the middle. Maybe. I mean, it could be a king, but I don't like that. Don't like K for Rex. Mount up. 2-year-old. What is a 2-year-old? A brat. Mount up is bat. I don't think mount up is bat. Mount up is ride? No. Mount up is accumulate. Sum. Serm. No. So we got dits here. Perhaps none's clue. Refuse. Just don't think refuse works for denial particularly well. Don't want it to be right. Clergyman with mostly cream, ancient suit being restored. Mostly cream, ancient suit being restored. Emeritus? No. It could be something ending with ITUS. I don't know. Peritus is a theological expert acting as a consultant within the Roman Catholic Church. Peritus. Mostly cream, ancient, suit being restored. How would that fit together? Is there an old word for cream that begins with P-E-R? I can't imagine that. Heron is a honey buzzard. Well, I quite like Peritus in a way. That is a clergyman. It does end with an anagram of suit, but don't see how mostly cream ancient would be Peritus. But I'm not proud. I'm willing to try that for a minute. Alright, mount up rising Rex is 2 years old. So mount up could be reversed up. But then what? Spry? Does that mean 2-year-old? I don't think that does mean 2-year-old, does it? Mount up. Hope to get recipe for fish. Hope to get recipe for fish. One swims a mile at sea, possibly. Country trader provided one company. Yeah, mostly cream ancient being per. I don't know how that would work, but I'm just guessing. It is. It's just because it fits with us. Potentially, it's a really poor reason to put it in, as opposed to some of the things I have not put in, despite them being good guesses. The New Yorkers admitting current themes. Oh, what's a New Yorker? A Yankee. A New Yorker. The New Yorkers admitting current themes. The New Yorkers. In New Yorker, the paper have a sobriquet with an I in it. Themes. Ooh, unlit. Anagram of a mile at sea. Well, if you can find an anagram of that, then I would be delighted, because I think that's definitely the right track to go down smooth. Crip Ricardo. Last down clue is unlit. Ah, individual since Latin. Yes, that does it very much like unlit, doesn't it? So, bye bye Orash. Hello, unlit. You have to put Orash somewhere there. But where does Yabby go? No one knows. No one knows. Somewhere over here. It's very alarming indeed that Yabby doesn't fit anywhere. Alright, forgotten, stole. Does unlit existing mean that we might have some clues that end with a U? Resistance cut in absorbent pipe cleaners. What's the word for pipe cleaners? A little must be a word for that apart from pipe cleaners. The things you jam down the orifice. Starts to breathe loudly during exercise. An old palm is pink. What's an old palm? Chenille stems. Tinsel. Is tinsel pipe cleaner? Ooh. Resistance cut in absorbent. Well, I don't think absorbent is tinsel. That's a shame. Bendy. No, it's not absorbent. I like tinsel. Cut in absorbent pipe cleaners. If trinsel meant absorbent, then the answer would... Oh no. Tinsels. Oh. What is this lizard? It's definitely not goanna, so I should probably cross that out. Lizard in stocking leads to Grand's alarm. It's got to be in stocking GA, doesn't it? It's not iguana, is it? Ian stocking lead, no. Tinsels. I really want it to be tinsels. I really think that's a great word for a pipe cleaner, even if it isn't. Badly off with 1/3 of Beaujolais being corked. Oh. Blocked. Badly off with 1 and A. Don't think it's an anagram of badly 1A. Corked. Corked it. Detective needing uniform to become quite brave. Boldish. Maybe one swims AM. Yes. One swims a mile. Yep. I like that as well. I couldn't see it. I like that better because you can get like women. One swims AM. Minnow, no. A minnow S. A womaness. I'm womaness. I really want to be like saleswoman or something, or sees. No, it's not someone who swims, of course. Someone who sails. One swims a mile at sea. Some wise man. Wissome man. Mount up. Riding R, 2-year-old, 2-year-old, 2-year-old. Mount up, riding R. Noxious gases from burning inside lifters, raises, ups. I feel like up somethings could be noxious gases, but burning is serious, burning is hot, burning is red. Noxious gases. Miasmas. Don't see that being right. Hope to get recipe for fish. Three miles to the old. Hospital, furlongs away from one more. What's an old word for a league? Country trader provided one company. Trader. I mean, the company could be something like ICI, that sometimes gets cleared. Fertilizer. What's a word for a fertilizer? Dung. Is there a seaweed called duneg? 5-letter words for seaweed with knee in them. 5-letter word for seaweed. Algae. No. Tears are caught in drink containers. Or it could be C in a word for drink containers. C in cups, C in tins, C in urns. Man, this is a toughie. Alright. Perhaps none. Is clothing worth furry fabric? Perhaps none. Perhaps none's clothing worth furry fabric. Furry fabric. Suede, is that furry? It's more so we thought that was Ditzy and Karoshi, right? Alright, Eft or dab or Uma inside bassinet to get Grand's alarm. Okay, I like that idea. Lizard in stocking leads to Grand's alarm. Is there a lizard called a Hosega? Something like that. That would be unlikely. There is not a lizard called a Hosega. Stocking. The Nanga is a fish, not a lizard. Talega is a carriage. A Brolga is a crane. Sorry, I've gone down a bad path, which is like, are there any lizards that end with GA? Quagget's not a lizard. There is no lizard that ends with GA. That's a blind alley. Lizard inside stocking. Well, let's have another look at that. Lizard in stocking leads to Grand's alarm. Lizard in stocking. I see what you're saying. Okay. So, Grand's alarm. Abdabs? Abdabs? That's a word for alarm, isn't it? The screaming abdabs. Abdabs. Abdabs is a state of extreme nervousness, but why would that be Gran's alarm? Yeah. The screaming abdabs, though, could be. Opens box with name unknown for return. Opens box with name unknown for return. NY, a name unknown. NX. Yeah, I don't know if that's a goer, but what if the lizard was down there? Asked Mia and Gurn. It could be Amonga. Lizard in stocking. Nilgai. Hose. Hoggaze. 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 I don't think that's a lizard. Bolted in some parts, having made a note of missing ones. So made a note of missing any letter I's, probably. Bolted. Something ED though, that one should be. Probably. Name unknown equals anon. Where are we? Yes, that sounds good. Keep losing where I am. Opens box with name unknown for return. Open, so anon? Plural of something that means opens, ending with nona. Opens. This is quite a puzzle. With name unknown. John Doe. Spot non-marine seal before in parts of island. Non-marine seal. Spot non-marine. Lubber. Seal before in parts of island. What the heck? Land right before developing COVID-19. Still not retroviral. Terminate one's claim at law. 5 letters. One's claim at law. Terminate one's claim at law. Terminate one's claim at law. Where can we put Karoshi? I really want to put Karoshi in. That's the best answer anyone's got so far. Brilliant stuff. I just don't know where it would go. And then onion tree. So we got like Ditzy, Karoshi, an onion tree potentially. Going down like that maybe. Don't see anywhere that react would fit particularly well in those though. Hope to get recipe for fish. I mean, maybe hope gets the recipe inside it. I don't know. Hope to get recipe. Dream, bream. 2-year-old equals spur. Mount up. Riding Rexes. 2-year-old. Okay. I really like the cryptic part of that, so let's see. Can we make spur mean 2 years old? Can't see any reason why that would be a 2-year-old. Spur is a spur. A 2-year-old is a child or a colt, age 2. That's what it says for 2-year-old. I'd love that to be spur. I would love that. Mount up riding Rexes, 2 years old. Let's say I'm quite uncomfortable with mount being in an across clue if it means reverse. It just, you aren't really mounting anything, you're turning it back to front. But maybe I'm wrong. Spur is so brilliant though. Alright, noxious gases from burning inside lifts. I want that to be ups. Lifts, I really do. Burning. Hope to get rid of... 3 miles to the old hospital, furlongs away from one more. I think an old measure of distance, about 3 miles, would have to be a league, wouldn't it? It would have to be a league. List of obsolete units. A hide is an old unit of measurement, but it's not 3 miles, it's like a... Oh! Come back! There we go. Yeah, all I've got is hide beginning with H, but that doesn't work. One swims a mile at sea, possibly. One swims a mile. A mile at sea. The New Yorkers admitting current themes. The New Yorker. What's a synonym for a New Yorker? A knickerbocker. Current. I mean, what's the word for themes? The could be T. New Yorker could be a 3-letter, 4-letter word. Nowhere that karoshi looks like it'll fit. Nowhere that onion tree looks like it'll fit especially well. We may just have everything in the wrong place. That's always a possibility. Everything! Alright, spot non-marine seal before in parts of island. Spot non-marine seal before. Pre parts of island. 1 of 5 of assassins. One showing scorn for gun. 1 of 5. Quinn of assassins. One showing scorn for gun. One showing scorn for gun. One of 5, quinate. No, that's a set of 5. Quintet. Quinter. 1 of 5 of assassins. Okay. 1 of 5 of assassins. Yeah. Could it be that? The 5th letter of assassins is 1 of 5 of assassins. One showing scorn for gun. Ah! It could be a word for 1 of 5, and then a word for of assassins, and then you replace some kind of thing like gat or something, like a word for a gun, a piece, or something with a word for 1 showing scorn, which is a mocker. But what would 1 of 5 be? Well, there's all sorts of things that are 1 of 5, aren't they? Quintet. Oh, 1 of 5 of assassins. I see what you mean, yes. 1 showing scorn. Okay, yeah, I see. Hooter, shooter. You got it, sorry. I didn't see exactly what you're saying, but the answer is shooter. Very good indeed. So it could like be down here somewhere. That's extremely unlikely to be correct. Well done, that's a brilliant spot. 1 of 5 of assassins. 1 S out of the 5 S's in assassins. Very nice indeed. Alright, lizard in stocking leads to Gran's alarm. I still want this lizard. Assassins have 5 S's. Alright, anyone can think of any lizards with a GA inside. I still think that it's probably got a GA in it. But not iguana. Problem is, in something like this, it can just literally be any word in the dictionary, so it could be something terrible. Iguana, yeah, well. In stocking leads to Gran's alarm. That just gives us igan, doesn't it? In. Home. Hogame. Gila monster. Stocking. Still don't know where Yabi's going to be. I mean, maybe Arash should go across here and Gurn should be on this side. It's all entirely possible that's what's going on here. Where are we going to put Yabi? Where? Peritus could easily be wrong. It doesn't seem we've got any justification for the PER and scant justification for the itus. Garter's snake. Okay, Garter. Lizard in stocking leads to Gran's alarm. I mean, I like Garter, but I don't know how leads to Gran's alarm would fit now. How about, I've got an idea, but it's such a stupid idea I'm not going to say it out loud. I'm looking up Igrala, like the 2 leads of each of Gran's alarm. There is no such thing as an Igrala. Ah. Oh no. Agamids are lizards. In is a mid. Oh, in stocking GA is a mid stocking. We got it. It's agamid. In is a mid stocking GA. So where does agamid go though? We don't actually know. It comes after latest, which will say this could be agamid. Oh god, this is all so badly wrong. But yeah, agamid is the lizard. Crikey. Gran's alarm. Yeah, no, it's not that. It turns out it was a word for in, but not the word for in I was thinking of. I thought of home, but the answer was amid. So just before Agamid we have shooter. So, you know, it's not entirely impossible that these things are in roughly the right place, shooter and Agamid. I love shooter, that's such a good pull. That 5 of assassins is S. There are 5 S's in assassins. So, tears are caught in drink containers. Tears. Still don't know what that is. Tears. Fertilizer contains trace of edible seaweed. Words for seaweed. Laver? Like laver bread? Don't like that much. Fertilizer contains trace of edible seaweed. I mean, laver is edible seaweed. Don't think LAVR is fertilizer though. Fertilizer. Oh yeah, forgotten, stole, soprano, abandoned, swiped. Oh, I like that. Stole, wiped. Is wiped forgotten? Wipe is to cancel, forget, or scrub, informal. I like that then. Yep. Forgotten, stole, soprano. So that's wiped, we think. Very good indeed. So we got, oh my god, Gurn might go. If Gurn went here, no, we can't just do that. Could just go there. Arash. So somewhere at the bottom, possibly, we would have wiped. There is another 5-letter word somewhere here. We don't know what that is. We've got yabby. We've got unlit. That doesn't seem very profitable, considering we have unts at the bottom. We have arash and gurn. I mean, let's see. I mean, gurn could cross with wiped potentially. But that's a bit high up, isn't it? Excellent work there, Stephen. That's really good. Yeah, wiped is right, I think. Ravel conducted Schubert's first over liberal. Ravel. What does ravel even mean? I always forget. It's like unravel is untie, so ravel is to organize, to entangle. What is to entangle? So, entangle. Snarl. Oh, yes. Conducted is ran. Schubert's first is S. We turn them over. And then we have snarl. So we actually have the final 4 clues, which is great. These could all be... These are the final 4 clues at 5. So these are the only clues that can begin any lower than there. So we've got wiped, snarl, and this just doesn't really look like it helps much, does it, with anything we have going across. Shooter might easily come down in between 2 of these words. Agamid might come down in between 2 of these words. But where the heck do we get something like unts to fit in here? I don't get it. In each row, one answer must be entered with an extra letter. In row order, the extra letters confirm how to complete the grid. So there's a possibility nothing will connect, but some things have got to connect. or else this will be impossible, right? So we need some good. How long has this stream been going on for? I'm gonna. Oh my goodness, an hour and a half. Well, we're definitely not going to go beyond beyond 2 hours in one sitting. That's not going to happen. So it would be ideal if we ended this with some good ideas on how to proceed at the very least. Can't promise anything though. We've got so many of these bolted in some parts, having made a note of. Missing ones. Made a note of. Made a note of. Could be anything. Noticed. Bolted. Notched. It's not that though. Have to ask. Detective needing uniform to become quite brave. Holmes. Poirot. What other detectives are there? Marple. Detective Tech. Ooh, Soprano Good Money is backing is Melba. So Soprano is Nellie Melba. Abel M. Oh, so good. That's such a mean thing to clue Abel with. Good. It's like there's so many classic places for your brain to go in crosswords with the word good, like pi or G. But yeah, Melba is brilliant. Alright, so where is that? Forgotten Stole. No. Sopranos. Lots of Sopranos in this, aren't there? Where is that, Melba? I've totally lost it. Soprano Good Money is backing. Brilliant. So this is the 4th down clue. So we would want that to be going down here somewhere. You know, no later than around here. Noxious gases from Melba, yeah. Does that help? Got any across clues? React could fit with Melba. Ah, yes. Well, I think now is roughly the time when I should be starting to think about winding this stream down. Yeah, if people would like to reconvene at some point, perhaps tomorrow, we definitely continue with this. I would like to not just lose track of it. There was one that we did, and we did like 80% of it. Oh, the full clue for noxious gases. Sorry, yes, I will give you that. It is noxious gases from burning inside lifts. Yeah. Noxious gases from burning inside lifts. Alright, well, actually at 90 minutes, I'm going to call this a day. If people would like to to think about this further, I think we should reconvene maybe in tomorrow. Come back at it with a fresh viewpoint. Fumes. Well, sometime soon. Noxious gases from burning. Yeah, fumes. It is a seven-letter clue. Noxious gases from burning inside lifts. Anyway, yep. I'm gonna call it a day there at 90 minutes, and yeah, I will come back at some point and try and finish this. So. Thank you all for your help. I'm sorry we couldn't manage to get further with it this time, but that's the listener for you. Sometimes it is hard.